Hello, Emmanuel Lyson coming to you with another session of Financial Breakthrough Academy. I trust that you have had a wonderful day and winding down wherever you may be. Today, we want to tackle a very important subject that will be very, very helpful to many of us, and it's about college financial planning. It's going to be several series, so I'll kick it off today with the first part of this educational session, college financial planning. Many of us have children. You may have one or two or several, or you may have a friend or relative who has a child who is preparing to go to college. And sometimes we hardly have opportunity to talk about this. And I believe that what we'll be discussing in the next few sessions will be helpful to many of us planning for our children's college education. Let us go to scripture to lay a foundation here. In the book of Proverbs, Proverbs chapter 22 talks about in verse 6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now, clearly, the training of a child is our primary responsibility as parents. We parents are primarily responsible for training our children. Nonetheless, I believe that a lot of times we have the opportunity to also uh, take our kids to various institutions, academic institutions, to help them contribute in their academic training in that regard. So, uh, we want to discuss what exactly we should be doing when it comes to training our children, preparing them, and preparing our own selves when it comes to their college education. College education. So let's take a look at a few important things. Okay. First of all, here are some factors to consider when choosing a college. This research paper, report put together by advisors. So I put up some of the key points that they outline in that particular report to help us be able to dissect the factors we should be considering when we are choosing a college for our children. The first is admission, obviously. Okay, so we want to consider that our child have the necessary qualification, the academic and personal qualification that the school requires for them to be able to get in is the ability to pay in terms of the admission. The school sometimes some schools are so popular that they have big names and it becomes sometimes extremely difficult to enter because of the overwhelming number of students that apply. So your first factor is, is there possibility to be able to get admission into that particular college? Not because the child doesn't have the academic credentials, but there may be just too many people applying, and therefore the chances may be limited. So that's first factor, admission. The second factor will be cost. Okay, and I believe in our discussions over the few sessions, cost will be one of the key factors will be zeroing in. So how affordable is the school? Is the school affordable? Whether public, private institution, it doesn't matter. They all have different, costs and the price attached to them. Sometimes the living expenses, maybe even what we want to consider. What has been our cash flow, our savings? Are we looking to get indebted with student debt in doing so of the college we are advocating for our kid? What about financial aid? What kind of financial aid are we looking at? Scholarships. So the cost involved in choosing a college is very critical. as parents, we have to help in the process of figuring out whether the cost and ultimately the rewards for the education make sense. Again, in this 21st century, not everybody may necessarily want to at least immediately pursue a college education. I am a very strong proponent of higher education, and I look forward for that for my own family, my own kids. Nonetheless, in some circumstances, there may be some other formulas that may work best for every family. So the cost involved is an important factor to consider. The next would be academics. Okay. In other words, specifically, we're not talking about the child's academics performance or ability. We are talking about the specific programs that the school actually offers. So if you have a child that is already has an idea the kind of academic pursuit they want to undertake, whether it's medicine, law, or something of that nature, it might detect or guide in the specific school you would choose because of the programs that are offered there. Sometimes not just even the program, but the breadth of the career path and goals that your child may have. Okay. What about the academic standards and the time of completion? What kind of class size do they have? Okay. So all of these may be something to consider when looking at the various academic factors for a particular college. Colleges themselves, the next is what we call personality. Every college has its own, or university has its own personality, so to speak. Some have some particular field, whether it's a living environment, uh, the student body, the size of the school, the religious affiliation. Some of us may have kids who may want to actually, choose, I would say, spiritual or religious based or affiliated institutions of academic higher education. So all of that may want to be considered when looking at the kind of personality that the school or the college or university has to offer. Next, it will be the location of the school. Location is critical. Uh, Depending on what you want as a family. Some families, you may want to consider whether your student or your child want to be a little bit closer to home or move out of state, or maybe away, far away from school, from their domicile or the local area. So the distance from home may impact the type of housing and the community that is available where the school is located may also detect. Is it a rural, an urban, an urban type of institution, large city, small city, diversity of the population? All of that maybe have to be considered. What kind of region there is? What's the safety or the environment? These days, we all have to be praying for the safety of all schools and colleges because of all that goes on a lot. So these are some factors that we can consider when it comes to trying to choose a college for a child. So whether it's the admission, the cost, the academics, the personality, or the location, these are important factors to consider whenever you're choosing a college for your child. So that is that when we talk about the aspect of choosing the college for the child. The next will be basically what kind of costs are we talking about here? Uh, this is a snapshot of a report put out by the College Board, and it's very, very detailed. So I'm just putting a few slides here for us. The cost of college will be an important factor, and in some of the series, we'll be going into a bit detailed in some of the factors when it comes to cost. In fact, per area, per the type of college, whether it's public or private. Okay, so again, depending on the kind of session we want our child to get into, whether it's a 4 year, 2 year, it will detect what kind of budget we are looking at and how to approach it. Okay, that tells us the need for us to be able to look into our financial planning now, especially when if we have the opportunity to save up, we have some time ahead of us to save up and look at other factors in funding our child's college education. Now, from the screen, we can see that yes, if it's 2-year college, sometimes if you combine the actual tuition and board and all that, it may be fairly lower compared to a private or non-profit 4-year college, which could be running all the way to about over 30 something thousand dollars just for the tuition and fees, not counting even board. So again, our budget dictates what kind of college we will eventually get into. Now, there are different ways we can explore. There are different financial tools or options we can explore when it comes to funding the college. And I have a detailed report available that when you inbox or request, we'll be able to send over to you for you to review for your own child. So that is in the area of the budget involved when it comes to the college funding. We will be again delving into that into detail in the sections that will be following. Now, we're looking at potentially some of the earning potential that college graduates earn. You know, the last report we have put up here by College Board tells us that depending on a child's aptitude to pursue higher education, the income potential is also there. Now, college in itself does not necessarily guarantee a successful career per se, but it does provide that baseline and that opportunity to be able to explore various giftings and strengths that the child may have. So every family has opportunity to explore and to look at the cost benefit analysis of going to college and what kind of college you want to take your child to and what career path. For many of us who are believers and spiritually inclined, it may be a good idea to look at the child's giftings and strengths to be able to identify what kind of college path you want to take your child through. So that is an area to really look into in terms of the income potential. And the chart here shows us the diverse level of income potential historically, depending on the race, the level of education that they have gotten, and the income potential that has been in the past gathered together by statistics. Okay, so let's look at a few other things here. Basically, we have a lot of details that we could be given. And again, I said this is a series I'm going to do on college planning. Before we go, I just want to play a very quick information here to help us be able to give ourselves some information on how or what to be expecting when it comes to college planning. There are different kind of costs involved in planning for college. Nonetheless, each one of us has to again be able to plan. We are available to help in doing so. You can call us 720-588-9717 or go online to licenseconsultant.com/financial planning. We can help you be able to plan now, especially when we have the kids much younger. It's a better idea to start a planning process. Here's a short clip that will give us a quick overview of some of the things we're talking about and some things to look into when you talk about planning for college. So let's watch.
There are 73 million children living in America today. The choices they make impact the future of your family and our nation. There's no single formula for success, but there is one proven path that provides lifelong advantages: the path of higher education. College graduates have lifetime earnings nearly 2 times greater than those without a degree. They are more likely to land jobs that lead to careers and less likely to be unemployed. But today, most American families face growing problems paying for college. Year after year, college tuition continues to increase at a faster rate than financial aid and family incomes. Student loan debt has ballooned in the past 10 years and is now more than $1 trillion, and it continues to grow, nearly $3,000 per second. While some can fund their children's entire education, most families rely on multiple sources to help them pay for their college expenses. Still, over 60% of families don't have a college saving strategy. It's never too early to start planning for your children's education, but it can be too late. Work with us to learn how much college will cost, what you'll need to save, and where to invest, so you can put your children on the right path to success.
Okay, so again, I believe that we've given some introductory information to help us think through this process of planning for college. I believe that it's an important aspect of our own financial planning. Our kids form an important part of our financial planning, so that is a critical element to be able to plan well for college. So again, this has been Emmanuel Lyson, your certified financial educator, coming to you with Financial Breakthrough Academy. I'll be back following this and continue the series on college financial planning. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Talk to you soon.